Now, moving on, and a young fighter with a cult following after just 2 fights as a pro. It's Frank Buglioni. I had Frank on here when he was a young amateur with the distant shadow of the 5 Olympic rings glowing in his eyes. Since then, he's been going to Johnny Eames' gym. He works out with Frank and Jimmy and Mark Tibbs, and he's a pro. He's had 2 fights, and I'm delighted to say that he fights at York on February the 10th. And I'll be honest with you, it's all getting a bit serious now. Frank, good evening.
How are you? Good to hear from you.
Yeah, likewise. Good to hear from you. Did you have a nice Christmas, Frank?
Yeah, it's lovely, thanks, Steve.
What do you go up to weight-wise, Frank? What's the heaviest you can get if you would let yourself go and have a couple of meals a day?
To be honest, Steve, 81 kilos is probably...
So nothing.
Probably the biggest I've been, yeah. So not too bad.
No, that's nothing. What you're competing at about sort of what? Fighting about what? 12-2, 12-3 at the moment.
Yeah, no, yeah. They give me a catch weight, so it's not.
Yeah,
too
that
bad.
makes it. And are you gonna develop into a super middle? Because you're tall, Frank, aren't you? I mean, I think you're taller than it even says in the record books. You seem about sort of 6'2"-ish to me.
Yeah, I'm about 6'1". I think they've built me as up, which is about right.
So you've had,
super middle.
Yeah, super middle. I mean, you develop. You're 22, and you're still a young 22 as such. And now, Frank, you've had these 2 wins, the 2 first-round wins. Not what you, I mean, fantastic, but at the same time, not necessarily what everyone wanted. They wanted you to get a few rounds. Yeah. You've landed good shots. They're going to line someone up for you for Feb 10. But the amazing thing, and one of the reasons why I think that that you deserve special mention. The amount of tickets in 24 hours, you've already moved. Is it 250 or more tickets, Frank?
Yeah, we've done in the last day or so. We've done about 250. So can't knock it. All the fans are back again. All the friends and family are out in force. And we're going to be great to see them.
And they're going to get a banner this time because it always works good on TV and for pictures.
That's it. Get our spot at York Hall. Have all the crowd on the balcony, and then make a bit of noise.
Oh, well, 250 of them will make plenty of noise because that's only the start. That's only the hour. Because I know that Lee, you work with Lee, don't you? Or you work in Lee.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So I know that he's been selling them, and I think there's a plan. We're all going to meet. We're going to meet in a pub. We're going to film you. I think we're going to meet in a pub somewhere.
The old Jules, so they're all going to start there and then make their way to York Hall. So
and a massive cavalcade of about 300 people walking. That'd be unbelievable, won't it? It'll scare the life out of everybody. The police will be everywhere. The police won't realise. Even if everyone's smiling, they'll panic.
No, they're a good bunch.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. They're a really good bunch. What I like about, let me just tell the listener, what I like about Frank's following is that when guys turn pro, like when little Kevin Mitchell turned pro, everyone looked about 16 because Kevin was only about 17. It's the truth. I've told you this before. And when you go to other fights, all the fans are they all look about the same. But when you go and see Frank's fans, okay, there's 18 and 19-year-olds all done up looking like Joey Essex, and I mean that nicely, Frank. It's the truth. And then there's guys of 25, 30 looking a bit sensible. Then there's like the 30s, and then there's all the old crumplies like me, all the mid-40s and 50s mob. It's a right spectrum of fans you got there, isn't it?
Well, that's it. Yeah, we've got a good variety, and they're all good people, so it's brilliant.
Yeah, they're all good people. They're all enjoying it. Now, Frank, how are you combating the fact that you're getting these guys out of there so quick? I mean, are Jimmy and Mark giving you slightly more rounds in the gym?
Yeah, I'm doing a lot of good sparring, a lot of good training with Mark and Jimmy. I've done a few 10-rounders now, so I've got them under my belt and learned a lot from them in sparring.
Okay, that makes sense.
And we're doing all our learning in gym, and then it obviously pays off on fight night. We're getting them out there quick.
Yeah, and that does pay off, and they're not been freaky mad punches. You've looked for them, you've moved away, you've looked good. Frank, I've been asking listeners tonight to pick the one British fight that they'd like to see this year involving 2 Brits. Now, it can be at any level. It can be at Southern Area level, or it can be at world title level. If you had a night off sometime this year and you went with a couple of friends, what fight would you like to pay and go and watch, Frank, if I had to put you on the spot? A British fight, all British affair.
I suppose Carl Fox maybe moving up to light heavy and facing Clevy, I think would be interesting.
And you know what? It's a sensible fight because they could even do that at catch weight. Clev might come down a couple of pounds. Carl's only got to go up a couple of pounds.
Well, I was
speaking
to Carl when I was up in Sheffield, and he said that he'd always fancied moving up the weight. So. Yeah. Maybe it'll happen.
Yeah, see, the plan was for the last 2 years, and people are forgetting this, the plan for the last 2 years was for him to win the Super 6. Obviously, it didn't happen. Would have been getting beat by Ward, and then actually move up to light heavy. No one's mentioning that now, but
go against Pascal and
that's right. Have a big old fight against Pascal, because that was a cracking fight. That, and then he's not involved in bad fights, Carl, is he? To be honest with you, I don't know.
No, I don't think he's ever had bad fights.
No, he hasn't. I sort of. You know, I do love him, and I just think he's really, you know, I just feel he's never got the recognition. All those great fights overseas, you know, and I just feel he needs. Anyway, a bit more recognition. Listen, Frank, it's a delight talking to you. I'll try and get you on my Box Nation show the Monday before, if we can. Then we'll hook up with the cameras and we'll have that big march from the pub to York Hall.
Thanks very much, Steve. Appreciate all the support.
No, listen, Frank,
Happy New Year.
And Happy New Year to you there. Frank Buglioni there. He's only had 2 fights, so you can Google him and watch him. He's a good-looking kid, nice kid. He's taken care of. He's beaten 2 guys, strong guys. He's done good jobs on them, quick jobs on them. And I tell you what, he's selling a lot of tickets. And I saw him work in the crowd from I was doing, obviously, the sort of punditry. And I was watching him after his last fight at York Hall. And I tell you what, I was watching him for about 40 minutes. He went from little group to little group to little group. He must have shaken hands. I think he sold 200 tickets there. He definitely shook hands with over 200 people. And he was just walking around, posing for pictures, walking. And you know what I said to him, I remember, and I had him on my other show, and I said to him, you know what you did there? You did there exactly what Ricky Hatton did. When Ricky Hatton was on undercards, and when Ricky Hatton was just topping the bill in smaller venues in Manchester and down here in London, he would spend hours shaking hands and wandering, and it didn't change. Even when he was in Las Vegas, after a fight, after the press conference, he'd then spend 2 hours shaking hands with people that had hung around outside the exits at the hotels. He never stopped shaking hands. And I always used to, and I still tell people this, when you're with Ricky Hatton fans, even if there's 12,000 of them gone to Vegas, you don't meet one that hasn't personally spent time with him. You don't meet one that hasn't personally had a drink with him. You don't meet one that hasn't got a Ricky Hatton towel. That's why he got all the fans. And that's why he used to leave Vegas with 17 million quid in his back pocket. Because he was popular. Popular. It's the entertainment business, the boxing world, my friend. Frank Buglioni there.